Daniel had once been a respected manager at a mid-sized corporation, but the tides of fate were cruel. A sudden layoff left him jobless, and an unfortunate series of unpaid bills led to eviction. In just a few months, he went from living comfortably in a modern apartment to sleeping on park benches, scavenging for food in the trash. The city was ruthless, and sympathy was scarce. He had no family to turn to, no friends who could offer a couch to crash on. With nothing left but the tattered clothes on his back, Daniel wandered the streets, holding up a cardboard sign. Lost everything. Need help. Anything is appreciated. It was a cold morning when a sharply dressed man stopped in front of Daniel. Unlike most passers-by who ignored him, this man's piercing gaze held something different, analyzing, considering. He reached into his wallet and pulled out a crisp $50 bill. "I can give you this," the businessman said. "But there's a condition. 1 week from today, I will return and expect you to give me this $50 back. Do you accept?" Daniel hesitated. It was an unusual request. What could he possibly do with $50 that would allow him to return it within a week? But desperation pushed him forward. He nodded. "I accept." With the $50 in his pocket, Daniel was faced with a dilemma. Should he use it for food and shelter, risking the chance of having nothing to give back, or should he find a way to multiply it? He spent his first few hours contemplating his options. Begging wasn't sustainable. He needed an idea, something small but effective. Then he saw a street vendor selling bottled water. Inspiration struck. He walked into a wholesale store and spent the $50 on as many bottled waters as he could carry. Standing near a busy intersection, he began selling them for a small profit. By the end of the day, he had turned 50 into 90. Encouraged by his small success, Daniel reinvested the money the next day. He diversified, adding snacks alongside the bottled water. His earnings grew, but so did the obstacles. Some police officers asked for permits. Other vendors saw him as competition. One even tried to chase him away from his selling spot. Daniel had to be smart. He relocated to areas with high foot traffic but fewer vendors. He learned which times were best for selling. Slowly but surely, his daily earnings increased. By the 5th day, he had $300. For the first time in months, he slept in a cheap motel instead of the streets. 1 week later, Daniel stood at the park waiting. He saw the businessman approaching. Without hesitation, Daniel handed over the original $50. The man smirked. "Interesting. Most would have spent it all. What did you do?" Daniel explained his small investment, his struggles, and his profits. The businessman listened carefully. Then he reached into his wallet and pulled out a check. "What if I told you that was just a test?" the man said. "I run an investment firm, and I see potential in you. Here's $1,000. Show me what you can do with it in a month." Daniel's journey had just begun. This time the stakes were higher. With $1,000, Daniel had more room to maneuver. He expanded his business, buying wholesale snacks and drinks in bulk, setting up a temporary stall near event venues. His profits skyrocketed, but so did the risks. He had to be cautious about theft, competition, and market fluctuations. The businessman checked in weekly, observing his progress. Daniel learned fast, making adjustments, refining his strategy. By the end of the month, he had turned $1,000 into $5,000. But there was something more significant that Daniel had gained: confidence. He no longer felt like a homeless man scrambling for survival. He was becoming an entrepreneur, thinking ahead, anticipating challenges, and planning accordingly. The businessman returned, this time with a more serious look. "You've proven yourself capable. Now I have one final offer. Work for me. I will mentor you, teach you everything I know about investing and entrepreneurship. But there's a catch. You have to leave behind the street business you built and start fresh." Daniel faced a choice. Should he hold on to his independence, growing his small business, or take a leap of faith into a world he had never been a part of? He took a deep breath and extended his hand. "Teach me." The businessman shook his hand with a nod. Daniel's days of struggle were over, but his journey to true wealth had just begun. Under the businessman's guidance, Daniel was introduced to an entirely new world: corporate strategy, investments, and entrepreneurship at a level he had never imagined. He worked late hours, studying business models, financial statements, and market trends. At first, the complexity overwhelmed him. Stocks, real estate, supply chains. It was far more intricate than selling bottled water on a street corner, but he adapted. His street smarts combined with his growing financial knowledge made him a quick learner. One day, his mentor gave him his biggest challenge yet. "Here's $50,000. Turn it into $100,000 in 6 months. Daniel's heart pounded. This was no longer a test of survival. It was a test of intelligence, skill, and ambition. He decided to diversify. He split the money into different ventures, some into stock trading, some into small business investments, a portion into an innovative startup that was on the rise. The first few months were rocky. He made some bad calls, lost money on a few ventures, but his mentor guided him through every mistake. By the end of 6 months, Daniel had not only reached $100,000, but exceeded it, making $150,000 in total. He presented the results. His mentor smiled for the first time. "You're ready," he said. "You've transformed from a homeless man into a businessman. Now, the real journey begins." With a growing fortune and experience, Daniel had a new mission: helping others like him. He started a foundation aimed at training homeless individuals in entrepreneurship. He knew better than anyone that a single opportunity could change a life, and he wanted to provide that opportunity to others. As he stood outside his new office looking at the city skyline, he reflected on his journey. Just a year ago, he was sleeping on the streets. Now, he was making deals with investors, shaping businesses, and creating opportunities. His mentor walked up beside him. "Not bad for a guy who started with $50, he said. Daniel chuckled. "Not bad at all." And with that, he stepped into his new life, ready for the next big challenge. But fate had more in store for Daniel. With his newfound wealth and reputation, he became curious about emerging markets. Late one night, while poring over financial news on his modest new laptop, he stumbled upon an article about the burgeoning cryptocurrency market. Intrigued by the volatile yet promising nature of digital currencies, Daniel decided to dive in. With the cautious guidance of his mentor and advice from several tech-savvy investors he had met through his foundation, he began to invest in promising crypto startups and even acquired a small stake in a pioneering blockchain project. The crypto market was a roller coaster. There were days when Daniel's portfolio soared, making him tens of thousands of dollars in a single afternoon, and days when it plummeted, testing his resolve. Yet, his street-honed resilience and newfound business acumen helped him navigate the chaos. Slowly, his careful investments began to pay off, and within a year, his crypto ventures contributed an additional $300,000 to his net worth. Amidst the whirlwind of financial triumphs, Daniel's personal life also took an unexpected turn. At a charity gala hosted by his foundation, he met Elena, a passionate, intelligent woman who had once volunteered at a shelter. Elena's compassion and dedication to helping others struck a chord deep within him. What started as a conversation about social change soon blossomed into a profound connection. Elena, with her warm smile and unwavering spirit, reminded Daniel that success was not just measured in dollars, but in the impact one had on the world. Their relationship grew steadily, built on mutual respect, shared experiences, and the common goal of giving back to the community. Elena became not only his partner but his closest advisor, helping him balance his soaring ambitions with the humility that had seen him through his darkest days. Together, they envisioned expanding the foundation to support not just aspiring entrepreneurs, but also provide shelter, education, and mental health resources to those in need. As Daniel's ventures in the crypto market flourished, so did his influence. He began to speak at conferences, sharing his unique journey from homelessness to financial success. His story resonated with audiences worldwide,